Yeah, I told James it reminded me of I don't know if you guys saw the Football Life with Bill Belichick when he was walking around Giant Stadium, and he was like looking at the treadmill, like I was on this treadmill for so many hours, watching film and stuff. For I'm sure for Coach and for me, 9 years here, especially when you're in your early 20s, you don't really have much going on in your life. There's no family or anything like that. You just spend a lot of time in the office. So certainly have great memories of being here, mostly about the people because we had great people here.
Well, for me, I mean, as Chris talked about, just great memories, and not being here as long as Chris, and being here, 2 years. In my first year being the year we went to the Final Four, and that's makes it a little bit more special for me. To be able to come in and come into a special season like that, and be with a special group of guys and a staff like that, and be able to have those type of memories. They're just great memories from walking around the campus to practice and out on the floor and telling stories about some of the things that happen in practice and looking up at the banner. I mean, I've been coaching 23, 24 years, and I know, some of my friends have been coaching longer than that, but have never coached in a Final Four. So, I mean, to come back and look at the banner and see all the pictures and the memorabilia, it says a lot, and I'm grateful to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I think we talked before to different people about maybe being the coach used the Roger Bannister example. I think it was the 4 minute mile. I think it was like nobody could do that, and then all of a sudden he did it, and then a bunch of people were just breaking it. So certainly would look at Davidson got close with Curry a few years later, and then and obviously Butler and VCU, Wichita State. So I think from that perspective, I think for us in recruiting, one thing that I've always sort of people would ask, hey, how did it change recruiting? Because everyone seems to be interested in recruiting. And I think James, and I were together one more year, so we went through a recruiting class together, and then Eric and Mike came on. And I think the one thing that I found was, for us, we were very strong in the area. Obviously, had 5 starters from the state of Maryland. There was a stretch where we had to get 10 scholarships in 2 years, and for whatever reason, not that we maybe got them all right, but like there were circumstances that led us to believe that the guys that were in the area that we could get maybe weren't going to be the right fit for us, or we couldn't get them. And it sort of led us to Ryan Pearson, Mike Morrison, Sherrod Wright, Andre Cornelius. I'll say Luke Hancock a little bit because he's from Roanoke. We didn't necessarily have a lot of guys from Southern Virginia. And so from that perspective, I felt like the Final Four, it's not that we went and got, top 50 guys or McDonald's All-Americans or anything like that, but it allowed us to get maybe the same player that we got from Maryland or Virginia in other parts of the country. And I think that obviously was a prelude to, winning a game in the NCAA tournament in 2011 and having a team that was also in the top 25 and won 15 straight games in a year where the CAA got 3 teams in, so it was probably the best year the CAA ever had. So I think from a recruiting perspective, that was probably the big thing that we saw, afterward.
I definitely think that year, changed the landscape of college basketball, especially for the mid-majors. I think teams looked at what we were able to do and say, hey, look, George Mason did it, we can do it. And, VCU went, and I'm sure they looked at their team and said, hey, this is a team, from our league, from this league. They were able to do it. And I think people, teams use that and as motivation. And hey,
I think athletic directors told some of these guys when they were getting jobs, like, hey, they made it. That's the expectation.
That's
now,
the expectation
like,
in the CAA.
It's easy. Just
those guys did it. It's easy.
I remember people saying that, though. Remember you saying like,
absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah.
How much did it help through the upperclassmen you had and going up against, for example, North Carolina, about a hand throw would have
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you're going in with a veteran group, and I think on any level, especially when in college basketball, we got a lot of young kids. You got some guys leaving, going to the NBA early, and we were, they were talented. And they were younger, but they were talented. But we played some, Connecticut was, they were talented, and they were older group also. So I think, during that run, we kind of came across a lot of different things. When you play that deep into the tournament and you play those very talented teams. We played the Hall of Fame coaches. We played. You kind of got to go through a little bit of everything. You got to go through, beat some younger talented teams, some older talented teams, some very good coaches, some young good coaches. You got to beat a little bit of everything. And I think we were able to do that. If you're looking back at all those teams, they had a little bit of all of that.
We had some history with all those teams. Not other than UConn, we had history with Carolina, or let's start with Michigan State. We played them the year before. They made the Final Four. They had veteran guys, like guys that are in the NBA, and Chris Hill, Allen Anderson, Torbert, Gahn. So the team we played, although a very good team, we had played against a more veteran Michigan State team that went to a Final Four the year before. So I think our guys, there was a level of confidence there. Carolina, 2 years before, we played against Felton May. McCants had a 2-point lead at half, and then I think Felton had like 22 assists in the game, and they really put it on us in the second half. But our guys had the confidence of sort of knowing, hey, we went into Carolina, had a 2-point lead. That was a younger Carolina team, and they had sort of competed against Sean May and those guys. So I think that, and obviously Wichita State, we had played that season, not a couple of weeks earlier. So from that perspective, I think maybe the history, and the experience was great, but the history too helped, I think.
Well, I think for me that's one of the parallels. But the tightness, the close knit of this team that we have here, and then the George Mason team. The George Mason team was one of the closest groups of guys that I've been around, and I've been able to coach. Part of that is because, as Chris talked about earlier, most of those guys were from this area, and this is a big, traditionally rich basketball area. Those guys knew each other through AAU or through high school or whatever, and I think that helped also. But that was a very close-knit group, and I think we have a close-knit group here. Talented group, but also they really get along. They like each other. They like playing for each other. I think those are a couple of things that I can see that are the same with both teams.
I think both groups have been hardened. They were hardened a little bit by their experiences. Like that team the year before was basically the same team, but very younger freshmen in Will and Follerin and actually John Vaughn, and then the group of juniors in Jai, Lamar, and Tony, and they had we had a great year in terms of scoring the ball. We didn't have a great year defending it, and sort of went through that transformation process to where we were like the best defensive team in the league, one of the best in the country. So we had some time there, and this team's sort of the same way. Like, we had some great ups last year, and we had some sort of strange downs, but put it all together at the end of the year, wound up making a run in the NIT, and then I think that hopefully has led to the sort of year we've had this year.
You were talking about how he was kind of telling the team a little bit about the story of that Mason team, like on the court back.
Yeah.
What's your guys' sense for like how much the kids like know about what he played? They're like 12 years old.
Yeah, I don't think they know much. I mean, we've
Well,
given them a crash course here, but I don't think they.
We've given them a crash course, but one thing about these guys, they're basketball junkies. So along the way, some way they know about it. How, not sure, but they know about it. They love ball. They talk about ball. They watch ball. So they're basketball junkies, and they know about it. How much, how in depth, how we got there, I'm not sure they know all the particulars and the ins and outs, but they know about it.
Davon was surprised how big the arena was. And he walked in and said, man, y'all guys didn't have this packed. When you were here, I said, hey, Davon, last 3 games, check the stats, 9,800 sold out. Last 3 games we coached here, including a Thursday night game at 7 o'clock, which, as we all know, it's difficult to get in here at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. That was to that was to win the league, the regular season against Northeastern. So I thought that was like kind of an accomplishment to sell out a weeknight game here. It
And- and Doc
took
Nix.
14 years, but yeah, Doc Nix had a
And
big.
Doc Dix
They
up
probably
there
came to see
doing
Doc
his
more than us,
thing.
but.
What was that like for you to be at midcourt? I don't know if you the coach was going to do that, so they
Yeah.
didn't keep around since the banner, but to be at that center court that you've been at many times years earlier, to be there in this context, to point up and to sort of bring it all together.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Just again, like I said, the people. You see the people. Great memories. For me, being 22 when I got here, being 30 when you leave, it's sort of like, I always tell people I'm a New York guy, but I'm sort of a Washington guy too, and most of the people you meet during that time, they really your real friends. People you meet from, 0 to 15, you don't really stay in touch with them. You do stay in touch with the people you meet from 20 to 30 a lot. So I certainly stay in touch with a lot of people here, and enjoy following them, and so to be here, it's great to see everybody.
Yeah, I'd say for me being out there again brought back a lot of memories. But last year when I got let go at Virginia Tech, I came back, moved back to the area, took a year off, and I was around the university and the people, as Chris talked about, the people, they welcomed me back with open arms. I had a chance to spend some time, around the university, but I did not come into the gym and stand at center court and actually look back at the banner since I had left years ago, and to stand out at center court and hear Coach talk about it and talk about, the chances that our team has and what we could do and have a chance to, make history with this team here at the University of Miami. I had chills just looking up at the banner and talking about the team and also talking about our team now. Yeah. A lot of emotions from the time we walked out of the door, walking through campus, and all the memories, going through the Johnson Center and over, and then watching the amazing display that they put together, and all the things, the memorabilia that they came up with. Some of those things that I have that I keep with me at my house, and some of the things that I've never seen before. And that's one of the things that when people ask me about, the Final Four, and you're not caught up in the moment. You're actually preparing. You're trying to win. You're trying to win a game. So you don't see what's on Sports Center. You don't see what the so-called experts are talking about on the talk shows. You don't get a chance to see the newspapers and all the articles. So just to get a chance to see all those things and a lot of the things that I don't have, and T-shirts that I hadn't seen before, that was just a good feeling. And then just walking through the campus and remembering that, coming back from the parade, and remember just watching all the kids at Johnson Center packed with all the students, just smiles in my face.
We talked about Dre Smith came on his official visit when we had the parade, and James said on the way in, he was like, "Hey, if we didn't get Dre Smith, like, we don't know what we're doing, because we had a damn parade, about the basketball program in town. Like, everybody's out in the street. I'm like, he had to, commit."
Yeah, there was no way we were losing them. And we beat out Mississippi State. We beat out Creighton. We beat out some very good programs for Andre. But after what he saw, he was coming to George Mason.
All right, I'm good.
Thank you.